It's interesting, Peter, because Mike was there obviously talking before, and I saw his interview before the game today, where he described it as a monumental error. And I watched it and I thought, yeah, there's no doubt the Nottingham Forest player was just in possession, and that there's no doubt Nottingham Forest should have got the ball back. But the goal came a minute 50 after. I mean, 2 minutes in football is an absolute age. So the idea that it was a monumental error because obviously it was a decision based upon obviously they got the law wrong. I get the fact it was a mistake, it was a frustration, but I get the feeling now that we're making sort of what would be, I think, a run of the mill error. That's something that you might see quite regularly in a season as being described as almost like a massive thing. And look, the sort of the owner on the side of the pitch and the sort of Clattenburg nonsense. I can't. I can't have that. I can't buy into it. Is what I mean. I can't have it. It's nothing to do with me. But I just can't buy into it at all. I feel we are pushing. We are pushing the sort of, if you like, boundaries towards. I think we're inciting potentially not just more anger and hate towards referees. I do genuinely feel at some point it will become quite dangerous. We have seen referees attacked in this last 2 or 3 years, and I generally feel now some of the actions of the clubs that they're taking, you can't complain about a refereeing decision that was 1 minute 50 before you conceded a goal. 1 minute 50. I mean, it's like, well, fair enough, 5-10 seconds. I think you'd be fuming if they came at the end of the pitch and scored. But to me, yeah, look, it's an error. There's no doubt it's a mistake. There's no doubt Nottingham Forest would have the ball, and then the pattern of the game would change. But we don't know that Liverpool wouldn't have gone up the other end and scored in a different way. Liverpool have got that something about them at the moment, that momentum that I talked about before, which tells you that is a likely thing to happen. So, look, we don't know what's going to happen in a football game. I just think at the moment we just need to sort of probably show a little bit of restraint. I don't feel it's as bad as everything. I mean, I get the fact that Notts Forest are under pressure. They're going to potentially get a points deduction that's going to drag them right down towards Luton and the rest. So I get the fact there's panic and there's desperation. But in some ways, right, where we actually felt sorry for Nottingham Forest a few weeks ago because they weren't getting the rub of the green, they're almost grabbing defeat from victory the way in which they're going about it. Clattenburg's all over the radio and they're talking about, well, we don't know whether we're going to make an official complaint yet. And what do they want? Do they want a replay of the match? I mean, this is where sort of this season seems to have taken it, that teams just don't seem to accept that they might get a bad decision against them. In the day, and I'm talking about in the day, I was talking about last year, if you think about there was the one actually, Manchester United, when Manchester United won at Old Trafford against City, and the offside one, do you remember? I thought that was a bit of a bad one actually, you know what I mean? It affected obviously City at the time. There was no sort of like at that time from City, we were on the other, there was no like sort of, let's replay the game or let's do this, or there seems to have been this season this angle that there's almost like retribution or revenge needed or some sort of greater action, rather than just thinking you're going to get a shocker at some point against you in football. Everyone has. And I don't think that was even a shocker yesterday. It was a bad one, but it wasn't a shocker.